Night Shift Whispers.
I inhaled the fresh spring air, admiring the blooming flowers along the way. This small town was truly beautiful. No wonder my mom decided to move back here after she retired. But somehow, I felt a strange sense of loneliness amidst all this beauty. Last month, my mom suddenly told me that she had bought the house that her parents had rented when she was a little girl. I hadn't even had a chance to see it yet when she suddenly moved. As a result, I couldn't help her move, and this was the first time I had time to visit her since she moved. I had called her when the bus I was taking was almost at the stop she had told me about before I left. But she said she was at the fresh market. I didn't know which way to go to her house. My mom told me to wait at the bus stop, but not far from the bus stop, I saw a playground next to a small park. So, I decided to wait at the playground. As I approached a long bench that faced a row of daffodils bordering the park and playground, I scanned the playground, wondering if it had been there when my mom was a kid. The playground equipment looked a bit worn out, but some parts had obviously been repaired or replaced. As soon as I sat down on the bench, a little girl suddenly appeared from behind a swing. She was holding a daffodil. Why was she suddenly there? I didn't see her come in. When I walked in, I didn't see anyone else around. There were no hidden corners that could have hidden her from my view when I came in. Strange. But whatever. The little girl looked to be less than 10 years old. She had long, brown hair. She was wearing a white dress with lace trim, matching her shoes. But her clothes looked outdated. She sat down on one of the two swings that were next to each other. The swing was right next to the bench I was sitting on. I watched her for a moment. She looked lonely. Somehow, I felt a strange feeling in my heart when I saw the girl. There was a strong urge to make her feel comfortable and not alone. "Hello," I greeted her kindly. She only glanced at me, as if she was determined not to give in or trust me easily. "Are you alone? Where are your friends?" I asked again. At first, she was still stubborn and didn't want to answer. But I didn't care about her reaction. I kept talking to her about everything. About the weather, the wind, the sky, the birds, the flowers, the leaves, and even her beautiful brown hair. And finally, she melted. Starting with a shy smile, then one or two words began to come out of her mouth, responding to my chatter. After several minutes passed, she suddenly said, "You remind me of someone, not only in your personality but also in your appearance. That's why I like you." "Someone? Who?" I asked. She nodded, then began to tell her story. She said that she had met a girl her age at this playground a long time ago. The girl was also as talkative as me, and kept talking to her about everything, even though she didn't respond at first. She was bright and cheerful, like a daffodil. That's why she called her friend Daffodil. She said that at home, she only heard and learned about her parents' loud fights and insults. They fought every day, even hitting and throwing things at each other. Meeting Daffodil, who was kind, warm, and cheerful, was her escape from the endless chaos she faced at home every day. That's why she came to this playground every day to meet and play with her little friend. But one day, Daffodil disappeared without a word. She waited every day, but Daffodil never came back. Even now, She is still waiting. Seeing daffodils bloom in spring makes her very nostalgic for her little friend. As she told her story, she stared sadly at the road, making me feel as if I could understand the loneliness of her wait all this time. I asked, trying to break the gloomy mood, "Do you know where her house is?" She shook her head, knowing only that Daffodil used to live around here. I asked again, a bit worried to see a little girl wandering around alone. "You too? Do you live around here? Where's your house?" She pointed to a direction across the street, about 2 blocks from the playground. I tried to see, but there were no roofs of houses in that direction. I got up and approached the playground gate for a better view. My God, I saw a cemetery. The girl must be wrong, or maybe she was joking. I turned around to complain, but she was gone. I looked around the playground and garden for the little girl, hoping she was hiding and laughing at me. But she was really gone. There was no trace of her. My phone rang, and I jumped in surprise. It was my mom. I was back on the bench where I had been sitting earlier. I had just been dreaming? I couldn't believe I had fallen asleep in a strange playground. My mom told me to hurry, and she was waiting for me in front of the playground. As I talked on the phone, I briefly heard the sound of a swing creaking. I was surprised as I stood up and ended the phone call. One of the 2 swings was swinging, as if someone had just left it a few minutes ago. A daffodil flower lay on it. I shuddered and quickly ran to my mom's car. It was clear that the swing was not moving because of the wind, as only one of them was moving, the other was not. The distance from the playground to my mom's childhood home was only about 5 minutes by car. The house was not large, but it was cozy. My mom had decorated it to her taste. Photos of her childhood were hung on one wall of the living room. As soon as I entered and put my things down, I was drawn to the photos. There were many photos of my mom with her grandparents, parents, siblings, and relatives. I frowned when I saw a familiar figure in one of the photos. My heart skipped a beat. It was the girl from my dream. She was standing hand in hand with my mom, who was still a child, in front of the playground. I sat down on the sofa, trembling. I couldn't breathe. When my mom saw my condition, she came over and asked what was wrong. Once I had calmed down, I told her what I had experienced at the playground. This time, it was my mom's turn to be shocked. The girl's name was Mary. She had been my mom's best friend as a child. And it was true, Mary used to call my mom Daffodil. My mom had moved to another city without saying goodbye. She had been suddenly taken ill, and the hospital in this town was not equipped to treat her. Her family had to move to a larger city for her care. My mom had heard that a girl in this neighborhood had been killed in a domestic dispute, but she had not realized that it was Mary. The next day, my mom and I went back to the playground. A daffodil on the swing, which was there the day before, remained fresh as if it had just been picked. My mom talked to Mary for a long time, whether she could hear her or not. While I was waiting for my mom to finish talking, I fell asleep again. In my dream, I saw Mary smiling and waving goodbye. She walked away, and then she disappeared at the end of the road.